On today's show, Missy from Wild Goose Chase Events shares how she brings people together to support great causes with her amazing community events. Cheryl Blanchard from Alzheimer's, Tennessee will chat with us about the challenges of this disease and how their organization is making a real difference for families in our community. And don't miss our Pet of the Week from Purple Paws. He's a real hard stealer. Grab your coffee and kick back. Good Morning Murfreesboro for February 14th, 2025 begins now.
Good morning, Murfreesboro. I'm Lance Chandler.
And I'm Rachel Albertson. Thank you for joining us for another week where we talk about what makes Murfreesboro shine.
Absolutely, and it's been a fun week, and last week's episode was a blast. I loved it with Mr. Murfreesboro. It was awesome.
Never a dull moment, never a dull moment. And I have my little Jesus in the kitchen on my microwave so I can see him all the time.
One of our guests coming up later, Missy, was telling me that those things are like viral right now. Did you know that?
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's insane.
Very good to know, though.
I know, right? Well, you know what's still going on in Murfreesboro?
Is it traffic?
Terrible traffic. Terrible traffic, guys. Terrible traffic. What are you doing out there? You know what still? Guess what we don't have in Murfreesboro?
The little reflectors on the road?
No, still no blinkers.
Still no blinkers. Okay, I don't know. There was a bad wreck this morning. I lost power for an hour. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to shower before the show, but thankfully for everyone.
If you're going toward Woodbury down John Bragg Highway, it's not the safest road to be driving down, especially in the rain. And I was behind somebody and they had to turn off left if you're going toward Woodbury. And they decided they were going to brake and then turn on their blinker and turn. And I was like, what? Why? It works. What comes first, guys? Comment below.
What comes first, the
blinker or the brake?
The blinker or the brakes. Well, today is Valentine's Day. Are you ready?
I am ready. I can't talk about it too much. Got some surprises for my wife, so I can't be giving them out because I know she's watching this.
Yes, yeah, she's really good about that. I have my evening planned. We're gonna cook some food at home and play some games. I love to play board games, so
that's awesome.
If I'm in charge, you never know. But we're gonna play some board games and make dinner together.
Like I said, it's so hard to surprise my wife. She's like an interrogator, man. She'll like get you down, like the flashlight in your face. She's like, "What'd you get me? What are we doing?" I'm like, "I don't want to tell you." She's like, "I can't handle it."
She's not good with the secrets.
She doesn't like them.
Well, Neil brought us a book, 1001 Ways to Be Romantic. So this is a great book. If you last minute need it, you might be able to Amazon it overnight. But for the weekend, so you have a romantic weekend. But anyway, there's some cool stuff in here. We were looking at it, so don't forget.
Pretty cool book. Might be, something that'll help you out on your Valentine's Day tonight.
Right.
Go to the public library and read it.
So do you have a joke for me?
I do have a Valentine's Day joke for you.
Ooh.
Why did the skeleton break up with his girlfriend before Valentine's Day?
I don't know.
Because he didn't have the guts to commit. I know. I need me a drum, a little, the cha-cha every time I do that.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Did you hear about our friend Mochi?
Mochi,
sorry.
Mochi.
I practice.
That's okay. That's all right. We want to make sure we're calling Mochi the right thing. Yes, I did hear about Mochi.
Hey, Neil, can you throw in that picture? I think he's going to do it.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, Mochi was adopted. And we helped out, guys. We did it, And we helped out, and all of you guys helped out by sharing, by commenting, by being engaged with this video. You helped a pet get adopted that needed a home.
Yes, and excuse me, there's still a lot of opportunities to adopt one of your very own furry friends. And we'll talk a little later in the show with our Purple Paws Pet of the Week of our newest pet to share.
Yeah, and we have a lot of events over tonight and then over the weekend for Valentine's Day. So there's all types of things out there too that you could be doing and places to go and people to see.
Places to go and people to see. Also,
with your loved ones.
Today is the League of Women Voters Day. It's the anniversary of the creation of one of the most powerful voices in the women's suffrage movement and voters' rights advocacy in the United States.
Yeah, and then it's National Pancake Week. So if you love your pancakes, I want you guys to comment on what you think, which restaurant you think has the best pancakes. Because I'm a Cracker Barrel guy.
Okay.
Some people like IHOP. you know, what restaurant here, some like Mimi's, they have pretty good pancakes. So what restaurant in Murfreesboro has the best pancakes? Comment it.
Well, pancakes in one form or another originated 5,500 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah. Yes.
Also, what's Monday but President's Day? We have that big day to honor our past presidents and current presidents, and it's a great day.
Monday is National Act of Kindness Day. The idea behind the National Random Act of Kindness Day is to cultivate feelings of kindness and brighten someone else's day. Every small act is significant. So I like to tell people, make sure you tip your waiters and waitresses rather than pay for the car behind you in the Starbucks drive-thru, because chances are they can afford it. So as you're out there doing these random acts of kindness, don't advertise it. Don't expect anything in return. Just be joyful.
Absolutely. And also we have Black History Month. It continues on, and we commemorate the great achievements of Black Americans throughout history.
We do. It wouldn't be a fun week without talking about birthdays.
Absolutely.
So first up on Sunday, we have rapper and actor Ice-T, who turned 67.
Wow, that's amazing. We also have the greatest of all time, the GOAT. And you can argue with me if you want, people. It's Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. He's turning 62, and that's phenomenal. He turns on Monday, 62. That's insane.
And the woman that many women had in their, the woman that many people had in their living room in the evening, Miss Vanna White, turned 68 on Tuesday. The letter flipping.
It still looks great, you know. Still looks great and still doing her job amazingly. Yeah. And we have John Travolta, if you love a little Saturday Night Fever or Grease. He's turning 71 on Tuesday.
On Wednesday, Millie Bobby Brown, 11 in the Netflix show Stranger Things, turns 21, which I've never seen that.
What?
No.
Oh gosh.
I don't have a Netflix.
We're gonna have, what?
I know. I'm old. When I stopped getting cable, the streaming, anyway, yeah.
Okay, and then Thursday on the 20th, Rihanna, the pop singer Rihanna, everybody knows who Rihanna is, quite amazing.
I'm familiar with her.
Yeah, she turns 37. Not so much a pop singer anymore, she hasn't done music in forever, but she has a makeup line and everything, she's doing her own thing.
Yes, and on Thursday, Charles Barkley turns 62. Although I don't know what sport he plays, I do know it's sports related.
Charles Barkley is a basketball player, a very famous basketball player, and if you love March Madness like I do, he's a pretty good predictor, even though he's always rooting for Auburn. You know, he's pretty good at predicting the outcome of March Madness, and I'm ready for that, guys. I'm coming for you guys on March Madness.
We always educate poor Rachel on things sports related.
And we have to thank our sponsors,
for sure,
Rachel.
For
we have Superior Overhead Doors,
Titan Media Works,
Info Social Media,
615 Insurance,
Achieve Entrepreneur Center,
and of course, Hemispheres Wine Bar. So, as I love to say, if you can't find anything to do in Murfreesboro, you're certainly not looking hard enough.
Yeah, plenty of things to do. Tonight is Valentine's Day, so you can celebrate that at Cedar Glaze. Love it, hate it, come celebrate. Commiserate and maybe find a new sweetheart over there. They are dog friendly, so make sure that you bring your pet if that's your date. And then tonight, it is the last chance to use Panther Creek and Mayday beer tokens. So if you have those, this is your last option to use those at Cedar Glade.
Okay, tomorrow the Blue Raiders men's basketball team are in Bowling Green to take on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Game time is 7.
That's a rivalry game, and it's not far away, guys. Go support. Oh yeah, and then we have the Lady Raiders too. They're facing the Hilltoppers tomorrow at Murphy Center. That's a home game, so you can support. Tip-off is at 2 p.m.
And then come celebrate the launch of Tennessee Whiskers Cat Rescue at the Cat Cafe. Caffeine Cat Cafe. Struggling. It's super cute though. It's C-A-T and then fiend like caffeine, but with a cat. So, Cat Fiend Cat Cafe. This fundraiser helps us save more felines, and we'd love for you to be a part of it.
All right, and don't put your kids on the bus on Monday because it's President's Day. There is no school. They'll be standing out there waiting for a long time because no bus is coming for them. So just make sure that you remember banks are closed, post offices are closed, stock market. Everything's closed on President's Day, which is okay. Give people a break.
And then mark your calendars, horse lovers. The Southern Equine Expo gallops into Tennessee Miller Coliseum next weekend, Friday, February 21st through Sunday the 23rd. This event features clinics, demonstrations, lectures, plus over 90 vendors. It's the ultimate event for horse enthusiasts, and we'll post some more information below.
Well, you know what I heard as well? Do you remember Fausta?
I do.
Yeah,
She was on our show.
Yeah, we had her on our show, and she's got a big event coming up. Tell us a little bit about that event, Rachel, and what she has going on.
She has an event here at Hemispheres on Tuesday the 18th, where she's going to do her official book launch. You do need to sign up to get tickets, which we can post that below as well, but it is going to be a fun event, and there might be little glasses of bubbly going around.
Well, and if you're all tuckered out this weekend from all your Valentine's days and events and stuff, you can actually sign up and buy tickets for another event, which is our 80s prom. We're going to talk about that with Missy Lay a little later on, so she'll give you more details on that. So keep watching, and we'll be right back after this commercial break. All right, we are back, and we are welcoming Missy Lay with Wild Goose Chase. Thank you for being here.
I'm
so excited.
We're so glad to have you.
Thank
So I'm
you.
here messing
You
with
figured it out yet?
No, I never will. That's not me.
No.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Missy. We're so happy that you're here. And, well, we got a few questions for you. We're going to talk about your event coming up. We're going to save that for a second, though.
Okay.
But tell us a little bit about Wild Goose Chase. Tell us how that all originated and what it's all about. Because, sometimes people don't understand what that name means and what you do.
Sure. So it started around my 40th birthday, which was, I won't say how long ago.
A minute.
But my husband got the entire staff in his counseling department to plan a scavenger hunt all about me. And then they all collected it and put it together, and we competed, the guy friends versus the girlfriends, and I won totally. But when we finished, he said, did you have fun? I said, oh my God, that was amazing. And I said, did you have fun planning it? He goes, no, that was a nightmare. I was like, what? I would love to plan that. And he said, you should, because the lady in Nashville wanted to charge me $500. I was like, wait, people will pay for this? So I started down the path of what does that look like, looking into like what does a full birthday party cost, what would somebody pay for something like this? And I learned that most people will just pay to not have to worry about anything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but it started doing scavenger hunts into local businesses. I wanted to drive people into local businesses so that they would walk in and have that aha moment of, I've never been here. I didn't know this was here. And so, that was kind of the drive. And then I've always loved the game Clue. The movie Clue is my favorite. I have like 13 versions of Clue. So I wanted to do something centered around that, and it turned into a fundraiser, and I realized that was what I was meant to do, use my gifts to help my community. And so now I still do scavenger hunts, I do murder mysteries, I do things like that, but now I just use my gifts to help nonprofits in our community raise money. So yeah, it's fun. And I mean, the name came, my dad used to say that when I was a little girl, when we would go looking for something on the square. Well, that was a wild goose chase. Like, we weren't able to find it. And then I did some research into geese, and I don't know if you know, they fly in the V formation. They switch who's in front so that nobody ever gets too tired. If one of them is failing and is probably going to pass, one will go with, so they're never alone. Aww. And it's just a very communal animal, and so it just kind of spoke to me. And so now that's what we are. We're Wild Goose.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
That's super cool. So, is there a story here?
There is. So
because this is a wild goose.
It is. I wanted a mascot, and I found this really sweet lady in Murfreesboro, Huggable Crochet by Renee, and I asked her to make me a goose, and she was like, "I've never made one, but let me try." So she did, and
it's adorable.
We did a naming contest on Facebook. So he is Clues the Goose. And just like any parent, you have a backup of the favorite.
Yes,
be prepared.
yes.
If you have a favorite lovey, you get another lovey, so you can switch them out and wash them. So I have another, and his name is Maverick.
Really?
So,
Maverick.
So he says, "Talk to me, Goose."
Well,
That's good. I like it.
Yeah. So this is my little mascot, Clues.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we have an event coming up that benefits one of the charities that we talk about every week.
We love Purple Paws. Yeah. So this will be our 4th year to do the 80s prom. Little history, 4 years ago, Boro Business Lab boys wanted to do something and raise funds, and we blew it out of the water. We had the DeLorean from Back to the Future. You know, we had dancers. Wow. We had the works, and everybody showed up, and we crowned our first prom king and queen, which is Kinsey Keene. If you know Kinsey Keene, she is all about her queendom, and I still have to bow to Michael, her husband. So, but we just had a blast, and every year it got better and bigger. And then, you know, we just switch out who gets the recipient every year so we can shed the love. And this time it's Purple Paws. And in their honor, I brought my little 80s pound puppy.
Aww.
Who doesn't remember their pound puppies
from little
puppies.
Yes,
all the pound
I was too
puppies.
old.
So, but yeah, that's kind of sweet that, you know, they help other, you know, animals find homes and spays and neuters, and I like to call them the United Way for animals. They bring in the funds and then they disperse them out to the needy rescues and causes and things. So I love what they do for our furry friends. So
speaking of the DeLorean, I did share a photo with Neil, and maybe he'll drop it in there with me and the DeLorean a couple years ago. At the prom with my crimped out hair.
Yes.
Lots of fun things to remember from the 80s.
Yes. In fact, I brought you guys some slap bracelets if you want to.
Fantastic.
In honor of Valentine's Day, they all have hearts on them.
Okay.
All right, we gotta, let's see.
1, 2, 3.
Hey!
There we
Hey,
go.
I remember when I was a kid, I would go to the book fair and I would make it rain buying these things. Just that and erasers and pencils.
Erasers, yes, absolutely. At book fairs in the 80s, that's the best thing ever. That's the best thing ever. And I don't think I ever bought a book.
That was not the point of the book fair.
That was not the point of the book fair. You're right. You're so right. Yeah. But yeah, so we bring out all the stops. We have 80s karaoke, which God love them. We have, I actually have a group. We're going to have a choreographed karaoke.
Oh, wow.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody's a good singer if everybody has enough alcohol.
That's right. Well, and as far as I'm concerned, karaoke isn't karaoke until everybody's singing with you. Yep. So you just do it and everybody sings along, especially 80s music. Everybody loves the 80s. So, you know, they always get the lyrics and they're just, you know, at the top of their lungs.
You can't go wrong with Hey Mickey or My Sharona. That's like
no,
listen, guys, good choices.
Yeah. Journey.
Yep.
Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah.
Yep.
A pretty high note.
Everybody's from a small town.
That's right. That's right. But my go-to is Hold the Line by Toto. So I just like to sing that. But anyway, so we're going to have a little fun with that. Well, there's 2 floors. There's dancing on one floor. There's karaoke on another floor. Prohibition is providing all of the wine. There'll be like glittery cotton candy wine. Cedar Glade Brews is doing, we're calling it Ectoplasm. It's their Berliner with blue raspberry, and that makes it look green. There may or may not be Ghostbusters. Yeah, so we are just literally pulling up all the stops so that we can help raise the funds for that. So you can go to boroprom.com and get your tickets. Tickets are $88, which is exactly how fast the DeLorean has to go to get back to the future.
That's great. And we'll have the link below in the comments so people can go find it there. So if you're interested in that, it's a great event. It helps a great organization. We talk about it, like Rachel said, every week. So make sure you follow that link. And Missy, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thanks for having me. So fun talking about my people.
Well, thank you for the slap bracelet. Thank you for being here and some nostalgia. Up next, we have Purple Paws Pet of the Week. This week's Pet of the Week comes from Lighthouse Pet Finder. Meet Hank the Tank. Hank is a senior boy that's been returned back to Lighthouse after 12 years. His mother moved away and took her only life that Hank has ever known with her. Hank is just the happiest boy with so much to love. He gets along well with cats, dogs, and children. And if you look at the picture, he looks like he's smiling.
He's very, very cute. And if you think you would like to adopt Hank, make sure that you reach out to Lifehouse Pet Finders. And if you want to find more of that information, you can look at the comments below, and we have that link there for you.
Did you hear that outside of Paws, they now have one of those microchip readers if you find a dog or a lost dog?
So you don't have to like go to the vet?
You do not, 24/7.
So let me ask you, like if you have a little chihuahua and you're like, find a little Pepe over here, the little chihuahua, and he's like, doot.
Yes, it's like at Walmart.
You're like, stop shaking. Doot.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, moving into the Alzheimer's of Tennessee, meet Cheryl Blanchard. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm excited to talk to you about it. This is something that's near and dear to my heart as well.
Yeah. It affects a lot of people. Really, so many people are impacted by this now.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Cheryl. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I'm a Murfreesboro transplant. Been here about 4 years. I've been with Alzheimer's Tennessee about 13 years. Love the organization, so I have the opportunity to move here and take over the Middle Tennessee region. So
Nice.
I did that 4 years ago. Love the borough. My background is I have a degree in social work and counseling, and I am a dementia care specialist. So I've spent about the past 14 years just studying Alzheimer's, the different types of dementias, how they impact people, and especially from the counseling perspective, how they impact families.
That's really important. Well, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the mission and the foundation?
Sure. So Alzheimer's Tennessee, we're a statewide organization. So we do not have a national affiliation, which is really exciting for Murfreesboro to know that everything that we do directly impacts our community. So the Middle Tennessee region covers 16 counties. So any event you attend or any donation that's made for the Middle Tennessee region stays right here in Middle Tennessee, which means you know your dollars are going to help families. And that's things like I mentioned the counseling. So the first step might be a family calling and saying, hey, we saw mom at Christmas and she just didn't seem quite right. What do we do? And we start there. Or maybe it's a family that calls and says, what do I do when my mom doesn't recognize me anymore? Or my dad is seeing people in the room and they aren't there. So really just helping families understand the disease process, how to best interact with the person to help them not get more agitated and more upset, helping those families cope with all those difficult emotions. And we have support groups to help with that as well, because there's nothing like being with other people that are going through the same thing.
Yes, for sure.
We do a lot of education out in the community, speaking at any kind of organization that needs a speaker, but I also get to go in and train assisted living and memory care staff how to better interact one-on-one with people with a diagnosis. So we love that. We work with local law enforcement. I'm currently training the Franklin Police Department, doing several sessions with their officers just to know how to recognize that and how to interact with them, because it might look like intoxication or it might look like mental illness, but it's not. So we work with law enforcement and first responders to help them know how to interact with a person to have the best response and again, not increase that agitation. And then with the wondering as well.
Yeah. So that's something I want to talk about, because my grandmother passed away with Alzheimer's when I was 21. Her case was pretty long. I think I was probably around 11 years old when she got diagnosed. And let's talk about like the first signs and what Alzheimer's is, first of all, because a lot of people don't understand that. But our first sign with her was it was my dad's mother. She was at my mom's mother's house. We at her swimming pool and hanging out for the day, and then she went home, which was a 30-minute drive, and it took her 4 or 5 hours to get home.
Wow.
And she got lost and nobody knew where she was at. And this was before cell phones. And it was just sit and wait, and finally she found her way home, and that's how we knew something was wrong. So let's talk about Alzheimer's, what it is, and what are a lot of the first signs.
Sure, and before that, I want to just address that 6 out of 10 people with a diagnosis will wander at some point. And families often say, oh, well, she's never wandered away. And I kind of under my breath go, well, not yet, but it's a big deal. And that's why we have the Silver Alert Law and the Silver Alert Program. So families that are caring for someone can call us and get a free Silver Alert kit and helps them be prepared in the event that their loved one wanders. So I wanted to address that so we didn't forget. But Alzheimer's, so a lot of people ask, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? And we were discussing that a little bit ago. So dementia is not a disease. Technically, it's not a diagnosis per se. It's a descriptive term. We call it an umbrella term, which covers anything cognitively that's going on with you, whether it's memory loss or some of the other symptoms. So dementia, not the disease itself. Alzheimer's disease, though, causes dementia. So think of dementia as the syndrome. You put all the symptoms together and it's a syndrome. And then we go, well, why? What's causing that? So Alzheimer's disease is the leading cause of dementia. And that's why people use those terms interchangeably. So sort of like if you had a bandage on your arm, we might say, oh, you've got a Band-Aid. And you go, oh, actually, it's a Walgreens brand. We use those interchangeably. So dementia is caused by Alzheimer's disease, the leading cause. But there are also several other things that cause it: Lewy body dementia, vascular dementia, frontal temporal lobe dementia, and they all have slightly different symptoms. So that's why we don't want to call everything Alzheimer's, because it's not. But if we are looking at the typical Alzheimer's, we're looking at somebody typically 65 or older, although there is an early onset version, and I've worked with people and families as early as in their 40s having Alzheimer's disease, and you would never think that, but that's what it turns out to be. But the first symptoms you see with Alzheimer's are the short-term memory loss. So everybody points out, oh, mom just can't remember anything. So that's one of the beginning signs, although our memories do change as we age because, you only have one brain and you got to take it with you your whole life. So we look at that short-term memory loss, difficulty with word finding, especially nouns. So you'll start noticing difficulty with language, and it's, I need that thing, the one, that thing that you used to, so we teach families how to help them find that word. They kind of can go all around it, but they just can't find it, especially nouns. And then sequencing. And so what you're talking about with driving is sequencing and problem solving skills. Those start to change. So when she went out, something about driving or even walking that's fascinating is they'll forget where they were going and they'll forget why they were going, but that urge that they are going kind of stays. So we have people ending up in Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, because they just keep going, even though they can't tell you where they're going or why. So she may have just started out on that visit, maybe took one wrong turn and couldn't backtrack, couldn't problem solve, couldn't do that sequence of events involved with figuring out where you're going.
Wow.
So it's fairly common, 6 out of 10.
Wow.
Tell us a little about your event that's coming up, because you guys have events that you do
Yeah.
to help your organization, so let's talk about that.
We do. Well, as a nonprofit, we're completely supported by fundraisers and donations and things like that. So here in Murfreesboro, when I first moved here 4 years ago, I went out to Hop Springs and I saw Mixtape. And I was hooked. I mean, you've seen them. It's fantastic. So I approached the band, approached Hop Springs and says, hey, can we do an event? So we started 3 years ago. This is our 3rd annual Rockin' Against Alzheimer's. It is an outstanding event. So we go out to go out to Hop Springs, Mixtape comes out, they do a full 80s concert. So it's just 80s Day on the show today, right? So it's an 80s concert. If you've ever seen them, they bring it all. And we recognize our sponsors throughout the show to a song. So each of our sponsors is there is recognized during a song. So we encourage everybody to just come out and support that. It's May 17th out at Hop Springs, presented by Amada Senior Care. And some other great community partners are Touching Hearts at Home. Of course, Grady Payne, great friend of Alzheimer's Tennessee over at Republic Bank. He brought New at Republic, brought them on board. So excited to have them. Boro Holistic Health, Mr. Brew's Tap House, Middle Ground Brewing, Morning Glory Orchard, Lawyers Land and Title, a Rayburn Insurance Agency, and we would love to have more.
I was in attendance last year, and it was great. And there was a signature drink.
Yes, there's a signature cocktail called a Purple Rain. So that Purple Rain cocktail, it's fantastic. We have a huge finale that we'll save for everybody that attends. But tickets are only, we don't up the price on that. We have sponsors that help with that. So any other event out there, we don't shoot the price up. We just invite everybody to come out. And tickets are available at allstennessee.org rock and also on the Hop Springs website.
Fantastic. We'll make sure we put those links in there.
It sounds like a blast.
It's so much fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for being here and educating us. There's some things I didn't know. Those 6 out of 10, I absolutely didn't know. So hopefully it'll help people that are watching.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much
me.
for being here. We really do appreciate it. All right, stop. Don't scroll just yet. We got more coming up right after this break. All right, that's it for this week, Rachel. We had a fun time on the show.
This was a really fun, I had some tongue twister issues, but other than that, I mean, we got to do the 80s. We got cool slapper slides.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to wear mine. Mine's perfect Valentine's Day theme for today.
Yes.
So
Love, 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 love.
got tons of events and more guests and new guests coming up next week.
Yes, so if you are watching, like, comment, share. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. We love all of the positive, fun comments that we're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to thank our sponsors again.
Yes.
We got Superior Overhead Doors,
Titan Media Works,
InfoWorld Social Media,
615 Insurance,
Achieve Entrepreneur Center,
and Hemispheres Wine Bar.
We want to wonderful place in here. And like you said, go back and like, comment and stuff. But go back and watch the replays, guys. We had Mr. Murfreesboro on last week. He gave us some cool
that's
gifts.
so great.
He gave us something for our baby that
Oh,
Taylor
that's
and I
right.
are having. So we got her little night light. So you go back and watch that. And he gave us one of the viral little Jesuses. And Mr. Murfreesboro is always on it, isn't he? But yeah, go back and watch that previous episode from last week and make sure that you're interacting with that and comment your favorite part of it.
He put something online about us drinking out of the cups, or maybe we did, and he commented, and I said, coffee tastes a little bit better out of that Mr. Murfreesboro cup.
It is a pretty cool cup, and what I didn't know is he has just a limited amount, so I feel pretty special.
We are special. We are, so thank you.
We also have to thank our staff. We have a great
Right.
staff here. We have Neil. He was on our show last week as well.
Right.
So make sure you go watch that and find out what Neil's all about with putting up with our crazy selves.
Are we crazy? I think
A
we're
little bit.
fun.
Yeah, we try to-
We put the fun in dysfunction.
That's so true.
Anyhow, moving right along. We are so grateful you have been watching this far, and we have the links to all the events below.
Absolutely, and thank you again to Hemispheres. It's a wonderful place. If you love our backdrop, come check it out in person. And also, from all of us here at Good Morning Murfreesboro, we wish you a great weekend.
If you're going to do it in Murfreesboro.